So guys, in today's video we want to have a look at these vertical battery boxes behind me. The 280 ampere hour Gobel power battery, the 230 ampere hour QSO battery, the 280 ampere hour do-it-yourself battery box from EEL, and the brand new Seplos vertical do-it-yourself box. So, of course we want to especially have a look at the Seplos box here, because this is still originally packed, sitting here in the garage for at least 6 months now. Well, at least you know what the Gobel power battery cells are for now. And I had very good experience with the Seplos Mason do-it-yourself battery boxes. We've got the 135 ampere hour Mason battery box. This one comes with the battery cells, and this one is a true do-it-yourself battery box. Bring your own battery cells, by the case, including the display and the BMS. And we also have another 280 ampere hour do-it-yourself battery box from Seplos, which is housing our Frankenstein battery at the moment. So these Seplos Mason boxes are a lot of fun to install and set up. So that's why I thought, we've got all these vertical battery boxes here. Why not have a look at the Seplos vertical battery box as well, and do a bit of a comparison between all of these cases here. Wow. I must say, first impression, amazing. Nice round curves, semi-glossy powder coat finish. Of course it comes with the Seplos BMS. This is the 200 amp 10E, it's the version 2 16.6. Hole for a positive and negative terminal, on-off switch. So, first thing I realize, there's no breaker on the outside. So like with all Seplos products, the finish is amazing. It looks really nice. There are no dents, no scratches, nothing. Alright, this looks very familiar. We've got the BMS up here already mounted on this plate. I'm really pleased to see there is a compression plate here. So these cells here will be highly compressed. This looks basically the same as the Seplos Mason box inside. It has a big compression plate. BMS is already pre-wired. Plenty of sticky foam, really long epoxy sheets. One bus bar. Nice big rollers. Bags full of screws and bolts and nuts and other fasteners. Fuse holder, accessory cables, 400 amp fuse, more sticky foam, positive and negative terminal, aluminium bus bars, and flexible bus bars to connect the BMS to the terminals and battery. And again, there's no manual in this box. No paperwork, nothing. And here we've got a nice thick steel frame. All the welding points are nicely painted. There's no rust. Oh, there's a bit of not enough paint here. Nice big compression plate. Yeah, so far I must say it looks really good. There are no surprises. All the material is as we know it. So the only thing I've noticed is this down here. Let me show you. So let's have a look how this works here. Because this is a vertical box. So this is the original orientation of the box. This is the top. This is the bottom where the rollers or the casters are. And then we've got these battery cells just sitting like this in this case. And you can't fit 280 or 304 ampere hour batteries in here. They only sit on this steel frame over here and in the back as well. So there's no support here in the middle. Is this on purpose so they can actually expand a bit? Wasn't that exactly what we have fixed in the Frankenstein battery with aluminium plates? And I remember the discussion under this video. Some people said it's totally fine because the cells themselves are strong enough. And some people were concerned, as I was, because the batteries have only this small steel frame here as a support in the back. I think this time I'm not going to support these battery cells with an extra metal or aluminium sheet in the back. I just leave them as designed and we will see how it goes. Yeah, and obviously there is an insulation sheet at the bottom here, so the cells are not lying directly on the metal. So obviously there's one on the side, one in the middle and one on the other side. And there are also 2 sheets for the back. So the batteries are actually fully isolated from the metal case then. And then we've got 4 of these smaller ones. So 2 for the bottom and 2 for the top. No contact with the metal at all, nothing. They are surrounded by these epoxy sheets. It's pretty cool. So, and then I've got 16 plus 11 of this sticky foam. And when I put them on the cells here, they are not really covering the whole area. And they don't fit this way. So, but why do we have 16 plus 11? This was the sticky foam supplied with the Seplos Mason battery boxes, and they have a far better coverage of the whole area of the battery. Look at this. In comparison to the new foam. Okay, I guess they need to save money where they can. And I don't know, this one, it's like a clear acrylic plastic strip with a 3M sticker. I don't know. Okay, this is all new. I am not sure what to do with all these sticky foam here and these plastic strips. Let me pull out the manual. So I have just found the manual for this battery box here on the Seplos website, but you have to log in to download it. So you have to create a free account. Well, they call these stripes here PC gaskets, and apparently they're coming left and right on this battery cell, just like this, and in the middle comes this piece of foam. And here's the layout of the battery case epoxy board. Interestingly, it says here in the middle there is a sheet metal compartment. See these green lines there? So apparently this is a piece of sheet metal, but I haven't seen it yet. And there you can see they've got basically 2 compartments. But I think they have changed the design of these boxes now, because so I probably don't use this middle separation sheet metal as shown in this drawing. Guys, I just realized I didn't show you the weather. Let's do this right now. It is late afternoon, it's about 5 p.m. Sun is behind the clouds over there. We had a wonderful, beautiful, sunny day today. A few clouds around, but I could fully charge the battery shelf and the Seplos Mason batteries as well, because these are connected in parallel to the battery shelf at the moment. I want to show you quickly here. I'm using this can-to-can multi-board, what Peter has developed. Yeah, this is the one where you can connect Seplos, Pace, Tangaluma, and the new JK, pretty much any BMS which has CAN communication and can talk the Pylon Tech protocol. Yeah, you can combine all these batteries together and have them all combined talking to your inverter, or the Victron system, of course. And this is the very, very first alpha device I have here. This is the only one exists in the world, and I'm testing it, and this is good. I'll make a video soon and show you how far it is. Yeah, and obviously we have negative 17 amps outside because we're already discharging the battery. It is actually 6 p.m. Holy shit, it's beer o'clock. Guys, welcome back to the Off-Grid Garage here. It's a late start. We're having a look at the Seplos Mason vertical battery box today. Do-it-yourself battery box. We have 16 280 ampere hour batteries here, and we want to build this battery box. Have a look at the Seplos Mason battery box and compare it to all the other vertical boxes we have built so far. Actually, the QSO and the Gobel Power battery were already pre-built. Okay, let's have a quick beer and dinner, and then I'll be back in the garage. By the way, thank you so much for all your generous donations here, buying me a beer, an ice-cold spat here in sunny hot Australia. I'm going now grab one and will calibrate it freshly, so it's ready to use tomorrow to align some solar panels, which we probably don't want to do, but oh well, I'll calibrate one anyway. So while I had dinner, I had a thought about this new design, this changed design from the old Seplos. In the old Seplos battery, there was nothing like this. There was only sticky tape, next battery, sticky tape, next battery. And we have sandwiched them all together, 8 in a row, 2 rows next to each other, and then the compression plate pressed them together. What I don't like are these plastic strips. So PC stands for polycarbonate. Not sure why they call it a gasket. It's just a piece of plastic. So if we put them here and put the next battery on top of each other, this will be the only area where these 2 batteries are touching. The foam in the middle does nothing. And only if the cell expands and compresses again during normal operation, this foam prevents a direct contact between battery to battery. Is that a good design? I don't know. So far I don't like it. Let's get 8 batteries in here and see how much space we actually have from the compression plate to the bottom of the battery box. So these are 8 battery cells pushed all the way down. And now we have a gap here, 23 millimeters. That is a lot, but at the moment there's no foam in between. So this is now the situation with the foam in between the cells. I don't have any foam here at the bottom, there's just the insulation sheet. And we will also have one of these insulation sheets up here. So there you go. Okay, so far there is a bit of movement in the cells, but not much anymore. So we have used these 23 millimeters now with the foam. Of course, there's no compression, you know. The cells are still loose. I have now added these plastic strips in between the cells, and most of them, they just fall in. Damn it, Zeblos, why have you changed this? Damn it! This was such a good design in the Mason battery. Have this EVA tape in between the cells and then compress them together. But here, this is just not good enough. Okay, so this gives us more room. And I can fit more of these dividers in between the cells. These are the epoxy sheets which come with the battery cells from Gobel Power. I did not think that I will use them. Okay, now there is a bit of compression already. So I can see there is probably a 2-3 millimeter gap now in between. You can see it. So this would be the space we can compress these cells together now. And because of the foam here, it is not really a compression as such. It is more like a fixture. So you won't get the full 300 kilogram force, which is recommended by EVE. Still, it could be a lot more. So I'm really thinking of making a base plate here, which gives us another at least 3 millimeters. And this will then be enough to have some compression on these cells. Then we can also use a piece of foam here at the top and a piece of foam here at the bottom once I have this bottom plate in. Okay, let's do that. See how we go. Do it yourself, huh? I don't know, the time-lapse didn't work, but I've cut this piece of aluminium sheet now, 3 millimeters, and hopefully it fits. Ooh, nice. Nice. All right, my friends, now we are talking here. Got now a 7-8 millimeters of gap here, which we need to compress with this plate. And if we put a piece of foam here at the bottom and at the top here, because we have so many of them. Ah, shit. Oh yeah, that looks a lot better. So now we've got like probably 11-12 millimeters of gap, and I cannot compress it with my hand anymore. So we definitely need a screwdriver now. Compress them in. We've got foam and epoxy sheets in between each of the batteries now. A proper base plate, and that should work. That should work. 11. Okay, I've got 1, 2, and 11. All the other bags don't have a label, and I don't know which are the screws for my wheels, for my rollers here. These are the only ones which actually fit. These are M6, but they are far too long. Come on, Zeblos, come on! Because I need to stand this one up before I mount all the batteries. Afterwards, it gets too heavy. Actually, why? We've got a crane. It doesn't really matter. Okay, we have now fully loaded the cart all the battery cells are in the right order. I followed the diagram here in the manual. Unfortunately, well, what they have done is here, the bottom of the diagram is actually the top of your battery. Because it's a vertical battery, you would say this is the bottom, this is the top. But no, that's not the case. Because they're looking from the top inside the box. This is not the best way to make a manual, for sure. So I've got 2 screws on this side of the compression plate in. On the other side, I'm not able to. This side is a bit more difficult for some reason. I don't know, is it the foam or are some of the batteries already bloated? I'm just kidding. Nothing is bloated here. So anyway, the important thing is we have the positive over here and the negative over here. That's exactly what it is. And everywhere else it says foam, foam, foam. And they're also saying stack as normal. If there is any looseness, if there's any space here, add more foam. That's what I did. And now I can't get this compression plate on anymore, which is a good thing. This gives us the compression. All right, I'm ready to compress. Let me know if you can see the cells moving when I tighten these screws. I start here at the bottom. Oh yeah, I can see them moving. Oh yeah. I don't like it. I don't like it. Seplos, I don't like it. Look what's happening again. See that? See how it's bended? The metal is thin here at the end where the screws go in. There's no extra profile welded to this side of the metal. And now the whole compression plate is bended like this. Because there's nothing we can screw in the middle here. That's not good. I don't like this design. We had this before somewhere. I can't remember where that was. Was this in the other Mason battery as well? I can't remember, but this is not great. So I'm now going to mount these PCB holders here for the balance cables and temperature sensors. A goes to the left, B goes to the right. If you have the wheels up. Isn't that bizarre? There, it says it as well. PSA, PSB. They are at the top, but at the top there are the wheels. Why? Why would you do that? Why? And also there are 2 more of these metal PCB carriers in the package. I don't know what they are for. You can take these ones off and put these ones on. But I'm not sure what the purpose is. I don't know. It looks like there are 2 spare ones in the package. Excuse me, Seplos. Balanced sampling line wrap with tape and tie cable tie fixation. I'm really trying to follow these instructions here, but So they have now included this pack of aluminium bus bars here, including 2 with a different hole distance. So, and this short one is obviously the link between your 2 rows on this side. But if you have the older cells which have the terminals further inwards, you need the other one which was packed separately and connect your batteries like this. So that's why we have 3 different kind of bus bars included. But then the overall question is, should I use the bus bars which are coming with the battery cells? Because this is tinned copper, while these ones are aluminium bus bars. Or should we use the aluminium bus bars which are coming with the box? I'm not sure. And the manual actually, I think they are flexible bus bars, right? Yes, they are. You can see it in here at the end. So here in the sample and the manual, they're using flexible bus bars, which is correct. But they're supplying only these cheap aluminium bus bars. So let's do a bit of a calculation here and see what is actually better. They are exactly 28. 1, 2, 2.5. 28, 2.5. Calculate. Okay, aluminium. These are good for 56 amps. All right, they are 20 by 2 millimeters. 20 by 2 millimeters. Calculate. 48 amps only. These ones are good for 48 amps. Is that correct? Let me cross-check this on a different website. Okay, I've checked this on the 2 other bus bar calculators and the result is the same. So 56 amps, 48 amps. Well, I think we go with the aluminium bus bars then. Zeplus is recommending 6 Newton meters to tighten the nuts for the terminals. There we go, 6. 80%. There we go, 6. 6 seems a lot. 80%, 100. So I have now these flexible bus bars here to connect to our BMS. YS1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Well, looking at the manual, there's also a YS8 and there's a YS6. Come on, Zeplus, come on. Update your manual or give me the right numbers. So this does not match at all. Here is more. Ah, this is for the fuse. There's a YS7 and a YS4, at least. Well, I've got only these few rough pictures here to actually find out where all these flexible bus bars are going. Yeah, my friends, I don't know. This seems to be harder than I thought. I've got one here identified. I cannot get these ones here to connect properly. So if the BMS is here, here's our shunt. So shunt is negative. Negative is over here. Positive is there, and positive needs to go over here. So they need to cross somehow. And I cannot really figure it out. I thought this one goes over here, but it doesn't really fit. And then, what is the other one? This one here somehow. This does make no sense. No, this is not the right. This one maybe goes from here to there. You know what? Let's call it a night and have a look tomorrow again. It is already... right, okay. yeah, definitely. Well, I really thought I could finish this battery tonight, but yeah, with the camera and filming and getting different angles and building this battery at the same time, it all takes a lot longer than expected. Okay, you have a good night's sleep and we see us again tomorrow morning after a short pft. Good morning, guys. Good late morning. It's already 11 AM or something. I got caught up in the comment section. Always good to read all your comments. Thank you very much. Okay, let's continue where we left last night. So the fuse holder should be very straightforward. If I can get this one off. And I assume we don't use this cover anymore because we're coming with these flexible bus bars from all kind of sides here, and this is just for cable connections in and out, so we don't use this one anymore. So this is an 80 volt and 400 amp fuse. And you want to make sure that your bus bars, where are they? That your flexible bus bars connect to the fuse directly. So there should be no washer in between the fuse and your bus bar. Direct connection. And then put the washers, spring washer and nut on top of it. So like this. How is this supposed to... like this? Okay. Okay, got it. I think I got it. I got the puzzle solved. Okay, let me explain this from this side here. So, main positive of your battery goes via the YS4 cable to your fuse. On the other side is the YS2 cable, connects to your B plus of the BMS. The P plus of your BMS goes directly to the outgoing terminal on the back of the box. Main negative of the battery uses the YS5 cable to connect to one side of the shunt and the other side of the shunt goes then directly to the main negative of your terminal. So that's pretty much it. Everything is connected, everything is secure, everything is attached. So the only thing which we need to do now is all the communication cables, but they should be fairly straightforward. So now it gets really a bit tricky because the manual online doesn't tell you where all these communication cables plug in. Thankfully I've got another Seplos BMS here. Unfortunately it has all the comms and LEDs soldered onto the main board, while this one has them on separate PCBs. So this is actually how the board sits here on the battery box as well. And when we lift it over, we can see the LEDs here. While on this BMS we have a connector in this location. So this must be the LED ports. One of them goes to our front panel, and see how this cable is split. And the other half has only five cables connected. And this connector could actually fit in this position or in this location over here. But here it says LED on the PCB. So I assume this connector goes in here. Well, if we are wrong, I still got some JK BMSs here, and we just replaced the Seplos with a JK. So here on this other BMS, next to the LEDs, we've got the dip switches and the communication ports for CAN and RS485 internal communication. There's a bit of a gap here, but then we've got these cables, and there's only one connector. And it says COM here on this PCB, and this is our communication board on the back. It has the dip switches and also the communication ports. So I assume this one goes in here. Makes sense, right? Okay, I clean up the cables later. Then we've got the main switch here. There was actually a question just under one of my videos recently, because this is a normal switch, you know, one position, the other position. It's not a push button where you have to hold it to close the contact. And only JK uses the push button, momentarily push button. Dink, gives an impulse on the BMS and it turns on. You hold it down for 3 seconds and it turns off. All the other BMSs we have tested so far, they've got a normal switch. It locks in. You push it and it locks. You have to push it again and it unlocks again. So you can use any switch here. They have decided to use one of an old coffee machine. That's fine. And the power switch plugs into this terminal here next to your balance resistors. There we go. This goes to the front panel. This goes to the front panel. Everything else is connected. We just need to connect the balance cables here from here to the BMS on this side. There's a black one which goes to your PCB A, and there's a white one goes to PCB B. To PCB B. You can't say this too fast. PCB B. PCB B. Now I just saw the black cable actually has some spill of this white glue, and it's blocking at least one of the holes here where it connects to the main BMS. Come on, Seplos, quality control. Alright, that looks good. Alright, I have now connected the balance cables here, the black connector and the white connector down there, but I have not plugged them into the PCB up here, because this will give partial voltage of these separate batteries onto the BMS now. And the BMS is not powered on yet because we don't have the connection down there. So I guess this will be the next one now, and this should power on our BMS. And then we can connect the balance cables. We are pretty much done. So I'm always a bit careful with connecting such a battery now. What I usually do is I measure the voltage. You can't see it. Measure the voltage between these two pins first. See what we got, what we are dealing with here. This is 11.8 volts, so there's nothing actually connected. But as a second measure, I use our pre-charged resistor and just connect this one to see if we get any sparks or any heat built up here. So if there's any current going through, doesn't seem to be the case. It's still cold. Nothing. The BMS is turned off. Okay, I think got my safety glasses on. Yep, that all works fine. Oh, hang on. There are 2 more balance cables. Okay, we have now a live 48 volt battery. Six Newton meter, 6 Newton meter. So we now should be able to measure the full battery voltage here on these two terminals. 52.5 volts we have, perfect. And I will now plug in the balance cables. Okay, they're both plugged in. Nothing has happened so far. I'm turning on the BMS now. Nothing happens. That's good and bad. It is really getting hot in here. So one cable goes into the display and the other one is our LED strip. Okay, let's see. It's a Seplos battery system, 52.68 volts, 50% state of charge, it guesses. And we have a run LED, no alarm, nothing. All right, cell voltages. 93, 94, 94, 89. Interesting. Cell number 10 is a bit low in voltage. This is one of the batteries we have tested. Yeah, that all looks good. Seems to work. Once again, the battery is alive. Okay, let's close this coffin. Okay, nice. It could be actually possible. So that was not too bad actually, not too heavy to lift up and to make it a vertical battery box. I had turned out these rubber stands though on these rollers, so the box was not rolling away. I think we can put them back in now, so we can actually move this box. Okay, first test drive. Yeah, it has these elephant rollers where you can turn down the feet. I have just noticed when I turn on the battery, we've got the run light blinking here and all the other ones are off. They only turn on when we have current going in or out. But there is no activity light on the back. See, there's another run light. Nothing. Also, when I turn off the battery and turn it back on, there should be this LED animation. Nothing. Huh. Oh, that's interesting. It's definitely plugged in correctly. See there? Just unplugged it and reseated it. While this one is working, the other one doesn't. And I can't swap them over because this is a wider connector. This one does not fit in the display or the front panel. Wild. So I've just connected a normal LAN cable to one of the RS485 ports here on the right of the BMS. And the other end sits in our RS485 to USB adapter. Started the Seplos battery monitor and it connects straight away. Shows us the 50.1% state of charge, no current going in, no warnings, nothing. So everything seems to work, full access, and all the other stuff needs to be set up correctly. And also the Bluetooth app works straight away. 50.1% state of charge. Gives us all the cell voltages here. Cell number 10 is a bit lower, it seems. Well, we will find out once we fully charge this battery. But still no lights here on the back. Okay, now that we are finished building up the Seplos vertical battery box, let's do a quick recap and a bit of a verdict about this battery. So let's walk around and see what we have. So we have the Seplos version 2, the 1606, built into this battery box. This was as per my request because I want to parallel all the Seplos BMS together and see how they work in a group. And this is another 200 amp BMS. We've got the same Seplos 200 amp BMS in the EEL battery. And we also have the same BMS again, 200 amps down here in the Seplos Mason box. So we can parallel 3 of them and see how they actually work together. Because some people criticized me because I never did this. I always only paralleled a 200 amp BMS and a 100 amp BMS from Seplos together. And this is not recommended by Seplos because the communication doesn't actually transfer over the capacity of the second battery. So the master always assumes the second battery is as big as the master, which in this case is wrong. So they only recommend using the same sort of BMSs and batteries and parallel them together, which doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, there was a bit of trial and error to mount these flexible bus bars here because the numbering on these bus bars here does not match the manual. Well, talking about the manual does not match this battery case. So obviously there were some modifications and upgrades to this battery box, and they never bothered to actually update the manual. So use this online manual only as a guide. But if you see something which is not right or which could be improved, like the bottom aluminium plate here where the cells are now resting on, just do it. Just do it. Don't hesitate it. You are the boss. It's your case. You do all the modifications you want. And if it makes sense, absolutely. It's a do-it-yourself battery. So yeah, I'm still not sure why the back LEDs are not working. Everything is cabled correctly. The comms is working. Bluetooth is working. We've got LEDs here at the front. So not 100% sure. Well, and then the drama with the compression. So as you can see, it is still, compression plate is still bended because the metal plate is not strong enough where the actual screws are. So it's tight here to the frame, but in the middle it is just popping up a bit. So the compression is not really 100%, and this could be easily improved by a middle rail as we have it in the Seplos Mason battery box. So even this box has compression, this is not a great solution. So here at the back we have Futronics terminals installed, and they can just be opened by pressing these two clips and lifting off this cover. There you have got access to the main positive terminal. And then this cover comes with cutouts for the cables, but you can have the cables only going in one direction. So left, right, or top and bottom. Because you can rotate this cover here as you need it. Well, it's a very different Futronics terminal they have used here. And we will see in one of the next videos when we compare this battery to all the other vertical batteries here, if this was a good selection or not. Yeah, and here at the back of the case you've got this recess, this cutout basically, where the terminals sit and where all your communications is. There's no circuit breaker, which I'm missing a bit. Yes, we have a 400 amp fuse, but this is inside the case. And I really like the possibility to have a mechanical disconnection, an isolator. But nothing here, just a soft button for the BMS to turn off. Well, you can build such a battery case in around 2.5 to 3 hours. I would say 3 hours safely, even with this shitty and not matching manual online. Everything is pre-configured and the quality of this case is outstanding. All the holes, threads are all matching. There's nothing you have to improve or drill or file to make it work. Everything fits together as per its design. And especially with this vertical box here, I like the access from the front and also from the top. This is a very clever design. You can take off all these screws and take the lid off as well to give you very good access to the BMS down here. What I don't like is look at the height of the display and the LED strip there and compare this to where it sits when the lid is closed. This is exactly above the main positive and main negative of your battery. So these are unfused battery contacts, like all the other ones here. When you open the lid, everything is exposed. This is usually not a big deal, but I could have included a big epoxy sheet as well to cover this whole area when you open the lid. At least what I will do, I will cut a piece of epoxy to cover these terminals here where the display and the LED strip sits. I don't like to have them in close proximity. And once you close the lid with this vertical Seplos battery box here, you have a wonderful and beautiful battery box. The workmanship and quality is really, really nice. I like this cream white matte finish. All the corners are precisely machined and painted. There are no gaps anywhere. So the design and build quality is really, really high with this case. So the Seplos 48-280L vertical do-it-yourself box will get 3 out of 5 rocks from me. So fully recommended. Link is under the video as always. Ah, guys, that was a bit of work. That took me like 8 hours of work, including filming. Filming takes a lot longer than the actual build, because you always have to adjust and position the camera. But now, I really like these do-it-yourself boxes here. They come with all the equipment. You don't need to buy anything else. You get your own batteries, you put everything together, and it just works. And you get a fantastic battery afterwards in a great looking case. Alright guys, Oh, it is only afternoon and I'm already tired. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your great support here on the channel, for all your comments and likes and sharing, and all these wonderful and beautiful people who have donated to the channel, buying me a cold beer, which I will enjoy right after the video. So thank you very much for all your support. Without all that, this channel would not exist. There would be no videos, nothing. Okay, guys, until the next video, when we do some more testing with this Seplos vertical battery, you stay charged, stay safe, and thanks again for watching. See you then. Bye-bye. Well, talking about charged, I need to charge this battery somehow. Quickly.